The sky was burning. The clouds red with twisted fire. Lightning moving across them. And they descended upon everything. Like a furious battle between God and Satan, good and evil. Like a fire vortex.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Ride Dog from Timber's Army. I'm joined by the one and only Corn Dog. Corn Dog, are you here, my brother?
Whammy, wham, wham, wazzle, a wise man once said. I am here. I'm ready to yell at my computer.
Let's go, let's go. Yeah, you guys got some of the best commentary in the game. Double dog. So we're super excited. We've got a huge doubleheader tonight. Between Emerald City RC and El Matador, which of course we'll get into the implications for that match. But this second match is sneaky good too. You got Locals and Rebellion. I want to say, and we'll pull up the league table here in a little bit. This might be the top 4 teams, if I'm not mistaken. So this is we've got 2 banger games going on.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Emerald City El Matador. Emerald City needs to win this to like lock in where they're at on the table. And Locals and Rebellion, last time I saw Rebellion, it looked like they were having a little bit of issues there. So curious to see how that one plays out as well. It should be a good matchup at that mid-table.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at that league table. Let's plop it up there and see what we got going on. Of course, you see there at the top, you've got Local 7-1, just dominating teams out there. Of course, and you've got Emerald City RC right behind them with the exact same scoreline, games won percentage points. There's really nothing separating those 2 teams at the top. And then, of course, you've got Rebellion, who's been sneaky good this season, right behind them. And then EM trying to jump Black Army for that 4th spot.
And I'm pretty sure, even though they have identical scores, the Locals are on the top because the Locals beat ECRC. If I'm remembering correctly, that was ECRC's loss. I could be wrong, though.
That sounds right.
Yeah, okay. So we've got Rebellion actually is in 3rd. I had missed that. I thought Rebellion was still in 4th or 5th. So this is going to be interesting here for the Rebellion. I'm excited to see the Rebellion play.
Yeah, it should be these 2 doubleheaders, or this doubleheader tonight is going to be really big for all of the teams involved. And we'll kind of go over that a little bit later. I think I want to touch on that kind of right before kickoff a little bit, just to kind of set the stage a little bit. But Corndog, let's talk about our first match that we have. We have ECRC of Seattle Sounders taking on El Matador. You'd think, of course, you see ECRC there at the top, or at 2nd place, tied for the top, right? And you'd expect you'd expect them to be there. And you kind of make your way down the table, and you see EM at the 5th spot. Of course, it's still very, very close. but would you? I feel like I would expect to see El Matador a little bit higher. I don't know about you, Corn Dog.
Yeah, compared to last season, El Matador should be slightly higher than they are right now. I'm sure as the Timbers guy, though, I mean, you're doing very neutral reporting for your position on the table there. But wouldn't this be huge for El Matador? They're not that far back. 2 games back from first place. A win here will put them tied for second. So it's going to be interesting to see, is El Matador bringing a Super A game? Is Rebellion feeling down?
Yeah, these are things that we're obviously gonna highlight over the course of our pregame stream here. I did want to point out too, there were rumors kind of floating around, and of course we'll see that at the top of the hour of the lineup that El Matador will come out with. You know, we've heard rumors that they are going with more of their A team with a Luis and Caesar, and then of course they've got many options for that third player. They've brought in. They used the transfer window really well, kind of towards the middle of the season, and have brought in a lot of players and a lot of talented players too. And so I'm interested to see what lineup they actually start with, and what lineup they go with. Are they going to be more consistent and try and get, you know, take points away from ECRC? Of course, here in SGL, that each game does count as a point, and so each game is very important. But are they going to look to take games away from ECRC? Or are they just going to try and win the series as a whole?
Yeah, it's going to be a good fight either way. Emerald City, I had a little pregame with Smashley, and I tell you what, he's super confident about this matchup. So we'll see if that confidence is warranted.
Absolutely. And of course, we do want to touch on our second match a little bit now. Of course, we'll get into that a little bit later as well. Rebellion taking on Locals, the 1 and 3 seeds. I mean, theoretically, Corn Dog, if Rebellion sweep the series, we've got, and you know, maybe if ECRC happens to not win a game, I don't think that's going to be the case, but then we'll have based on points, of course, we'll have a 3-way tie for first place.
Yeah, and this table's really tight, and that's what I've been liking about it, is nobody's really out of the game yet. Obviously, EC Defiance might put a hand up to that question there, but it's a really tight top of the race here, and it's going to be we got important matches happening today. It's all the top guys. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll come back to the table, but let's bring up the fixtures for this week, because we have a huge week coming up here. What is Mez? Gotcha. Perfect. So here are the week 10 fixtures. Of course, you've got Locals and Rebellion is going to be our second match today. Of course, fourth down on that list, we have ECRC and El Matador. That will open us up tonight. Other matches include Black Army Los Verdes, Steel Army versus EC Blue, and EC Defiance versus KC Cauldron. Corn Dog, any other match kind of sticking out to you at all, other than, of course, the 2 that we have tonight?
Well, I kind of got to represent the home team. EC Blue has been putting up a little bit of a fight, and I mean, if EC Defiance found a way to beat KC Cauldron, that would be a show I'd pay to see. But no, I mean, I feel like for me personally, the top 2 games of this week are being played just now tonight.
Yeah, we've got absolute banger series coming for you at the top of the hour, just about 15 minutes. For me, yeah, it's interesting, and if we can, Maz, let's switch back to the league table, because let's kind of talk about the implications that we have. Of course, we've got 2 weeks left, right? We have this week, week 10, and then we have week 11 next week, basically for all the marbles, right? And you're starting to see, and we've touched on it a little bit, but the playoff implications and where things fall. Of course, you can see it there on the left. The blue highlighted teams, the top 6 teams, will make it into the playoffs, and so you can obviously see those top, 3-4 teams definitely feeling more comfortable. But then as you kind of work your way down, El Matador, Timbers Army, KC Cauldron still in this, Steel Army still in this, pending their results. It's gonna make for a crazy week 11 next week.
Yeah, and these games are really going to set the tone for what that's going to look like, because if ECRC come away with it, puts the pressure on the Locals, and Rebellion and
Rebellion play locals tonight, if that's what you're.
Oh, there we go. Locals.
Yeah.
That was what I was trying. Rebellion play locals tonight. So depending on locals win, ECRC wins. It's going to put a pressure on, and ECRC plays first. So that's what I was thinking of. Thank you.
Gotcha. Yeah. No worries there. Yeah, and it's really important, of course. My team, Timbers Army, they're sitting in that 6th spot on a bye week, so they cannot move. We cannot move anywhere, and so that's why it's really important. KC Cauldron, who we'll see later this week, can they get 4 points against ET Defiance? Of course, based on the table, you might think that might be an easy win, but we'll see, right? They'll put them at 20 points, right? Steel Army, if they can come out a win, they'll be at 19 points. Right, EC Blue can maybe sneak in there with some help, of course. So we're just setting the table, of course, for next week being super, super crazy. And of course, I'm not one for crazy just because I'm involved in the crazy, but the chaos, just maybe from a neutral's perspective, is pretty fun to be around.
Yeah, tight race is always good. You're looking for the yellow flag in racing, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you watched the F1 Grand Prix this weekend, you got a ton of those for sure. So we have just about 12 minutes left. Let's head over to our predictions for week 10, as we just kind of saw our fixtures a little bit earlier, but if we can bring those up. This is what I said. I just put these together, so bear with me. I have locals taking the match later against Rebellion. I think they're just really freaking good. I also told Mecky Ducky earlier to just pop off and go crazy. So I have them winning that match. I have Black Army sweeping Los Verdes. Black Army is just a solid team. Truthfully, I haven't seen too much of LV. Of course, we play them next week on I'll call it quote unquote decision day. So we'll see them next week. I have EC Blue taking a close series against Steel Army. I think that one's a coin toss, and I think that one can really set the table for what chaos can happen next week. Of course, Steel Army need to win that game, win that series to keep in contention. Of course, same with EC Blue there. I have EM taking the first game, kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but yep, I have EM taking this series 3-1. I think it's going to be a game 4 overtime, so I think it's going to be really close. So the 3-1 might be not really what it is, but I think it's going to be really close. And I do have KC Cauldron sweeping EC Defiance. Corndog, do you have any kind of predictions on your end for the week 10 slate?
Yeah, just to throw on top of there, I can't see ECD taking out the win. I'm super supportive of that 3-0. I gotta obviously go with the home team here. ECRC sounded really good just a few moments ago, and I'm sure they've been practicing. Excuse me. But I'm going to give them the 3-1 on this El Matador game. I like the EC Blue call. I think Steel Army obviously has a advantage, so I'd flip that score. But I like the call. And then Los Verdes, if they could show up, if they could get their movements connected together, I think they'd be a pretty decent team, maybe up a little higher in the table. But got to stick with your Black Army call. And then Locals Rebellion 3-1. I mean, Mecky Ducky is a machine, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Fair enough. So a few swaps between Cordog and I, but I think that just proves how close these teams are really. And of course, we got a really banger week this week of having even-ish teams play each other, right? This week might be one of the best weeks for SGL based on how this table has turned out this season. So of course we will see how the rest of this plays out. These are the first 2 games of the week, so of course we have the rest of the games still to go, so stay tuned in the Discord for those announcements when they come up. All right, Corndog, it's time. Let's talk about the second match of the day first, and then we'll kind of close out the top of the hour with our head-to-head match. So let's talk about Locals and Rebellion. What's kind of the keys to success for both teams if you have them?
So Rebellion looked a little, and I just already mentioned this, but Rebellion looked a little bit rough last time I saw them, which I think was last week. And it just felt like they weren't jiving together. So I'm gonna be a little bit looking. I'm going to be looking forward a little bit to that maybe happening, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way. Like that's my bet, so that's what I'm going to stick with.
Fair enough. Yeah, I feel like Rebellion, they're such a hot and cold team that you never know what Rebellion you're gonna get. If you get a hot Rebellion, be scared, because they are easily, and of course the table shows it, a top 3 team in the league, hands down, absolutely no questions asked. But when they're off their game a little bit, it's just really kind of weird to watch, and it's like one of those teams where you're like, what is going on? Because we just know how good they can play, and so that to me, kind of like what you said, Corn Dog, is definitely a key to success for Rebellion. And of course for locals, I think you just got to stick with what's working, right? You have this Meki Ducky Dr. Aquatic combo, right? And of course Raid too, filling out that roster with Doughboy, right? Like, you've got solid players that know their role and do their role really, really well. And so I think if you can unlock that a little bit, especially with Meki Ducky, let him do his thing and just have that defensive cover, I think that is kind of the key, is to free the duck. We'll do hashtag free the duck.
I like that. But the Rebellion, it's like an engine with a misfiring cylinder. When one piston gets out of alignment, it can throw the whole thing out of whack. So when they're on, and when they're stepping on each other's toes, it seems to keep going that way.
Yes, absolutely, and of course, we've talked about Meki Ducky so much over the course of the season, I'm sure, and of course on this broadcast we've talked about him just because of how just good he is and doing so much for this local side. Let's bring up real quick the stats going through week 9, I believe, so far, and you can just kind of take a look at what is, and I guess now through week 10 you can kind of start to see the whole picture of what's happening, right? Like, we can even start with like the points per game, right? And the points just on the left hand side, you can see who's really taking control of games and series, right? You've got a player like Meki Ducky, or Monkey Ducky as he is in the points per game. He's averaging 524 points per game, which of course is, leads the league. But if you just think about in the grand scheme of Rocket League, that's a ton of points.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely impressive, especially with the level of player we sort of have filtered throughout this league here. So Meki Ducky being at the top, no surprise to me. He's definitely a threat from every direction.
Absolutely, but of course, just a little bit down the way, you have Polar right there at 435, which is still a solid score. And so, maybe it's those two players that it's the battle of those two players. Who can get on more consistently? Who can have those 400, 500, 600 point games, which of course comes with goals and assists and saves and all of those things that give you the more points, right? Who can make a difference in those games? Of course, that's going to be super exciting to see. And of course, we've got the rest of the stats that you can see. Meki Ducky, of course, leading with goals per game. That's where he's been making all of his money there with a $1.75 per game, which is crazy. Of course, Polar right there in fourth as well at 1.41. And then of course, if we haven't even touched on the other series, that's which I promise we will get to. You see a bunch of the EM and a bunch of the ECRC players on this list as well. So we've got a high flying doubleheader for you tonight. Not even just from where they are on the table, but just from looking at our top 5 lists, it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and let's not forget the teammates that support those top players. They're able to communicate in a way and function in a way that allows that player to get out there and do what they do best. And sometimes that can be more important than having somebody that can do goals also, somebody that knows to stay back, somebody that knows to hit the pass and where you're going to be.
Exactly. It is one fluid motion, theoretically speaking. Rocket League is. We're going to keep this up here just because I do want to highlight our upcoming match. Of course, we have ECRC taking on El Matador. And like I just mentioned, you have a ton of those players here on this list. Just looking at the left again, Luis, second in points per game, 506. right? And you have Toad Death 435. He's always up there. You have you have Luis in goals per game, right? Like you have Toad Death with total goals in second. Like you just look across this list and it's just sprinkled with talent.
Yeah, and it seems like with all the top people being here, some stats are about to improve and some are not.
Yeah, right. We have the battle of the best right now, and like I said, I think I'm super excited to get this underway here in about 3 minutes time. Of course, we talked about the keys from our second match, but Cordog, let's talk about the keys to our first match here in ECRC and El Matador as we are getting everybody in the lobby here pretty shortly. To me, of course, maybe you have more insight on this, just talking with them a little bit earlier. You know, ECRC, you've got 4 basically starter caliber players in Gojo, Toad Death, Spanky, and Smashly. It's going to be an interesting combo to see what they come out with tonight.
Yeah, and Toad Death and Smashly being like brothers on a hockey team, they know each other very well, and it's sort of a matter of who they're paired with. With Gojo, you've got high flying, you've got flip reset potential, you've got off the backboard, but you've got a little more offense than defense. Spanky is just as offensive. I play with him, and I'm much lower level than him, but I play with him, and he has to take the offensive role because I'm not good at that. And oh my God, Spanky can fly. He just is filling the situation. He knows Toad Death and Smashly are blood brothers, and they know where each other's going to be, so he elects to stay back, but that gives him a lot of potential to set things up for the boys. So you got 2 crazy different people for that 3rd slot, and I've also heard that Smashly could potentially be the 3rd slot, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting starting 3 that you have for ECRC, and fairly similarly too, it's the same thing for El Matador. We've seen different iterations of them over the course of the season, and I don't want to say that's you know why they are a little bit lower in the table than what we're used to, but now's the time to turn it up, and it looks like they've got their absolute A team out there as they just joined the lobby here with Luis, Kiwi, and Caesar.
And oh my God, can Caesar hit some nasty shots? Same with Luis, but we tend to yell Caesar more than Luis. That's all I'm saying. It's not a attack, but yeah, Caesar is an absolute machine, and Luis and Caesar work really well together. So it's going to be interesting to see. Are they ready?
Yeah, absolutely. Caesar and Luis, and even Kiwi too, have had the pleasure of playing with as well in some open lobbies. That all 3 of those players can take over a game, and so maybe if Luis isn't hitting the things that he wants to hit, Caesar will step up, or if Caesar's not hitting the things that he wants to hit, Kiwi's going to step up. So it's going to be interesting to see, of course, how these teams match up. I guess you've already heard our predictions. I've got EM. Corndog, sounds like you've got ECRC.
Have to stick with them.
Yeah, I mean that's totally valid. We're gonna get the teams in the lobby here very shortly, and then when we do, we will get this series underway. Corndog, did you just say 5 games for this, or did you?
I'll
say
take
4?
5 games, but I said 4.
Okay, so you think
El Matador is going to take game 1. ECRC finishes.
Okay, very interesting. No, this will be really good. This will be really good as we just getting our teams in here, and it looks like it's going to be Smashly, Toad Death, and Gojo to start out for ECRC. Which, man, these could be on average like the 6 best players in the league playing on one field together.
Yeah, it's interesting. You guys can't see it, but the teams are joining and leaving. There's excitement. It's like cars revving their engine at the start line.
Exactly. Well, it looks like we have both teams in our lobby. We're gonna get when Maz says the golden words, we will get these guys in on their teams. I'm gonna hit spectate and not join.
I've been thinking about that.
I know my team's off this week, so you know I gotta be careful. But here we go. Teams are just about joining. There we go, and you have EM taking game one. I also have EM taking game one. Let's see how it plays out.
Nice 50 win to start the game off for EM. Can they hold it there? Looking good.
It is important to note, Corn Dog, that this series is on West. As there's going to be a big booming clear from Luis repping the oxygen decal, and EM starting off on the right foot.
Yeah, and nobody back for that. Who was back for that? No, nobody, because they thought the ball was going to continue forward, and and somebody stopped it. I just had flashes of Guy Giverson.
Yeah, and we love Guy Giverson, and we'll have to see if he can make an appearance in the commentary booth today at some point. But nonetheless, those easy goals, though, given up by ECRC are not what you want. Caesar's going to take this one himself, and it's going to be saved away to the side. But yeah, if you're ECRC, you don't want to give up these easy goals. You want Luis and Caesar and co to work for these goals.
Yeah, and right now both teams looking a little cautious. ECRC not wanting to overextend. Excuse me, and El Matador not wanting to let the ball by, and it's causing a little bit of a stalemate that's opening up now as Luis comes flying in. But it feels like both teams pulled back, that's all.
No, yeah, absolutely. And typically, I think that this match would be a battle of the midfield, and of course, apart from the goal, it's kind of what we have so far. Nothing really materializing for either team since the opening goal, and of course, you've seen. It's funny actually because EM has had most of the demos so far. As Caesar gets another one on Toad Death, which typically you would see ECRC do.
Yeah, and let's keep in mind, we're talking about this epic war that's already played out, and we're only up 2 minutes into the game.
Yeah, Luis, I think, is going for the Exterminator. He's going for the Exterminator, which I think is 7 demos in a match, if I'm not mistaken.
It is 7. I confirm I did that earlier today.
Wow. Fair enough, Corn Dog. I love it.
It was just, you fit the vibe, and sometimes the vibe is violence. So, yeah, but no, getting ECRC out of their pocket, the misfiring cylinder I was saying with Rebellion earlier applies to ECRC as well. They work really well with the 1-2-3 because they know somebody's going to be there. If you can remove the person from the there, you can cause some problems for ECRC as the favor is completed. Luis scores 2-0.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Smashley was waiting for one more touch from Toad, and it just left Gojo back all by himself, and Kiwi just kind of snuck behind the defense and demoed the last man, and Luis is going to put it in for 2-0.
And this is an incredibly hot start here for El Matador. The pressure's been great. They slowed it down once they scored, and they were able to find a hole and capitalize.
Yeah, I guess ECRC is typically starts fairly slow. I think we've seen that over the course of time with them, and they kind of work, you know, later in the series they start to figure things out. Of course, Smashley and I have been talking, or did talk, especially after our series when Timber's Army played them as Toad Death. Can he get this one on target? He can! Oh nice. My thought, Toad Death cuts the lead in half.
Nice back ball there. Sets up a clean pass, and that's a 1-2-3. But like we were just saying, if you can stop ECRC from being where they want to be, then they're not gonna expect they're gonna get caught forward. That 1-2-3 becomes a 1-2 return goal. I don't know.
Absolutely, and they're gonna tie it up right here with Toad Death.
Oh my!
Toad Death being on that or the goals per game and I think the points per game list that we showed earlier, and he's showing you why.
What an incredible turnaround from ECRC. Down 2 to tied up 2 is the worst lead in Rocket League. So good on ECRC to get back in it, but Matador slow down.
Yeah, yes, they did, absolutely. And I think it's ECRC working themselves into this game and into this series. There's just going to be a small double commit there, but it won't amount to anything for EM. But as I was saying earlier, Smashley and I were talking, and they came out with a game plan in game 1 against us, Timbers Army, and we ended up catching them by surprise. And then of course they ended up taking the series 3-1. But it's those mid-game adjustments that are so key for ECRC. They're so good at those, as Gojo's gonna play it off the crossbar, and it's gonna go in. 3 straight goals for ECRC, and they have the lead.
What a good pressure ball ECRC just threw right in El Matador's face. 3 unanswered goals with 1:17 to go. El Matador needs one to stay in the game.
Yeah, oh, there's a team bump. That's not going to bode well for EM. It's going to allow ECRC to stay on attack as Toad Death keeps it going. Kiwi's going to get this one down, but Gojo is there. And it's kind of interesting, right? We've talked about Gojo over the course of time here on the stream and, of course, over the course of the season, of just how easily he can take over a game. And we haven't even had to say his name all that much today. It's been Toad Death for ECRC.
Yeah, Toad Death definitely in the right place at the right time to get that recognition, and not knocking his gameplay, just saying it worked out nicely. Gojo has been silent so far. He's made some moves, he's made some things happen, but he hasn't done flippy, spinny, stealing, flip reset.
Absolutely, and Maz does bring up a good point in chat. Gojo has been good and more important for the little things, and it's those... It's not the individual little thing itself. It's not the, hey, he does this here, he does this there. It's the combination of all of those little things that he does that makes him so good. But can EM get on attack? It's a beautiful pass from Luis to Caesar, but it's not going to come out with a beautiful save off the goal line. And EM is going to have to keep this up in the air as ECRC are going to try and kill this. Can they? They do. And against... well, both of our predictions, and really against all odds, ECRC take game 1.
Yeah, and El Matador had it early on. They just faded away as the time went on. ECRC got fired up. But as you're talking about, Gojo has a perfect position defensive play. Great prediction to stop a crazy attack by El Matador. We were inches away from going to overtime, but Gojo cleared it out, fought it down, and sealed out the game there. So Toad Death claiming 2 goals, Gojo claiming 1, 2 goals for Luis on El Matador. But man, what a great game, what a crazy turnaround.
And it's important to note too that this game is being played on West, so EM typically being in the central part of the United States, and of course we know Luis is actually on the East Coast, so he's having some ping problems, and that might be why things are going a little bit awry for them. But yeah, ECRC feeling, pun intended, right at home in game 1. And of course, so maybe we're not used to this. We're used to seeing ECRC maybe more on the back foot and making those mid-series adjustments, but now we see it on the flip side. They're up in this series. What adjustments are they gonna make to continue having the lead?
Yeah, right now, ECRC's been sort of on the counter-attack. It's worked for them. We'll see if it keeps working for them as Game 2 kicks off.
Yeah, Maz does bring up another good point. Kiwi has been very quiet, and it's not necessarily a bad thing per se, but, maybe when you have a ping problem with Luis, maybe, you have, Caesar maybe not connecting on some of the things. You really need that third player to step up, and that's why I think ECRC is so good that, when one of them doesn't step up, the other ones usually do, and that's what makes them so dangerous. Is ECRC are going to start out on attack, as Gojo's going to keep this to himself and play 50 with Luis and get this out to the corner. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what adjustments EM make after giving up 3 straight goals.
Wow, that was a close moment for both teams there. ECRC pressuring El Matador all the way back at their net. Great clear out here as Caesar tries to walk it. But good offensive play coming out here from ECRC out of nowhere. They backed off the first attack. They went in for the second one. We're only a minute in, and for some reason... oh, there we go. Caesar's making a play. We're only a minute in, and for some reason, again, it feels like more. It's the speed of the gameplay, I think.
Oh, Kiwi He's gonna want that one back. He did have a free double off the backboard, but couldn't get it to go. And I wonder how much of the of this is coming down to chemistry as well, right? Because and you've got the two ends of the spectrum a little bit with EM and ECRC. Of course, ECRC just being super gamma heavy, and they've been playing together a long time. They practice, you know, all of these things. And of course, you have EM, who brought in a bunch of new talent. Like I said earlier in the transfer window, that, you know, Kiwi hasn't really played with them all that much, but as we speak his name, he comes alive as Kiwi is going to get EM on the board first in game 2.
And what a great pass in there from Luis to make that happen. But man, it seemed like ECRC got overconfident on the clear. It got shut down, and then the back foot was Havith. I don't know, words.
Yeah, Caesar can't quite connect with Luis there. This is going to be an early jump from Luis. Can he get back to this? He can't. Toe Death is flying. He's going to, we'll call that a tactical fake, as this game kind of stalls out a little bit. But it's interesting, like I was saying, going back to the chemistry of how much that actually plays a factor in, you know, how these teams play. Of course, we know ECRC, a well-oiled machine, you know, playing with them, you know, they've been playing together a long time, versus a team like EM have had the same roster for quite a bit of time. It's usually Louise, Caesar, and Kuv. And now you see Kiwi, you know, integrated into this roster to see, you know, how things work from now. We keep going here with 2:20 left on the clock.
Fuck.
Nothing really going on here as we have Luis going up for a solo play. He's not going to connect. Caesar's going to be next, but it's not going to materialize to anything, as Kiwi's going to get a huge 50, and all of ECRC scramble out of the net, and Kiwi bounces.
Yeah, my mic was muted. I said lots of words, but EM had that 1-goal lead. It looked like they were trying to hold on to it, and now they've expanded it. But this is exactly where we saw them in game 1, so we'll have to wait and see.
I was just about to mention that, Corn Dog. Yep, 2-0 was the exact score line that EM threw away in game 1. So we'll see what happens here in game 2. Of course, this next goal could be huge. It's going to be right on the goal line. Caesar with a huge bump, and Kiwi's going to put it away. And it's 3-0 EM after chaos on the goal line.
What an incredible aggressive play here. Stops the ball, knocks the defender into the back of the net. Kiwi comes to clean up, but that might have gone on its own. Caesar with a great brutal play to put them up 3-0. They said game 1 was a fluke. Let's go, El Matador.
I was just about to say, too, this next goal is going to be huge. Of course, being at 2-0, them knowing that it's not a safe score, that ECRC did come back in game 1, as Kiwi's going to try and get on the assist this time, and Luis forgot how to play Rocket League and can't connect. But with 3-0, are you starting to feel good for EM? I don't know, especially with the way ECRC came back in game 1, but still plenty of time for ECRC to get on the attack.
Yeah, and it's all a matter of finding holes, and right now El Matador's just been more efficient at finding those holes. They found holes in the defense, and they shoot the ball right through it.
Kiwi just needed a game.
Kiwi.
Kiwi just needed a game. We said he was quiet in game 1. We awoke the giant. 4 goals for Kiwi. Easily the MVP of game 2.
3 assists for El Matador. He hasn't been doing it himself. Caesar with 2, Luis with 1. So he has been helped us. Smashley finds a way to strike back off the Gojo ball.
That's
The
an
Luis
important goal
Gojo.
for ECRC. Yeah, Gojo had a good 50 there, and Smashley just doing what he does best and just cheats up. But that's a big goal for
Cheats.
ECRC. Who can Smashley get up to that? He can. It's not going to be on target, but these double and triple commits out of EM on defense are a little worrisome, kind of just as the series progresses. Something to watch out for as well. But I think for ECRC in the end of this game too, you definitely want some momentum, whether that is goals, whether that is just playing, you know, better and getting some more attacks. Is that going to be an own goal? It's not. It wouldn't be a series without a Smashley own goal. We almost had one.
He'll get one, don't you worry. Interesting baller from Kiwi. It goes right to Gojo, but a double demo in the net's going to put out any fire that started there. And I feel ECRC trying to come back, but it feels like they're trying to come back. They're either over-aggressive or over-leaving everything right now, just from the outside perspective, at least.
Yeah, we see ECRC do their best work when they have 2 in attack and they leave 1 back. Just because they can pass and they can do everything, as Gojo is gonna put this in. Luis did try and get the save, but it is gonna be a consolation goal in the end. And truthfully, it's gonna matter a little bit, right? Because you have momentum, right? ECRC definitely capitalizing on the momentum in game 1 after they did get that first goal and came back all the way. But game 3 will be interesting, right? You have EM go on that 4-goal spell. Thank you, Kiwi, with 674 points. Dang. But 2 goals at the end for ECRC bode well for them.
Yeah, and Emerald City looking good at the end there. It's a stop start kind of feeling here. El Matador able to absolutely figure them out and get 4 goals up, but then ECRC fighting back with 2, ties the series 1-1. And I'm gonna stick with my prediction. I think it's still 3-1 ECRC, but El Matador took game 2 instead of game 1.
Yeah, 100%. And I mentioned it earlier when Kiwi was scoring all the goals, the sweeping giant. Is he the key to success that we just overlooked completely during our pregame, right? You talk about Luis, you talk about Caesar, their individual abilities to take over games and take over series, but maybe it's Kiwi. Maybe Luis and Caesar are the decoys, and you have Kiwi coming up with huge plays that, of course, led to all 4 goals for EM. So we'll see what adjustments ECRC make. Of course, I said it earlier that they're the kings of making mid-series adjustments. And of course, after losing game 2, we'll see what happens for them to adjust in game 3.
And Toad Death's not afraid to get aggressive and blow a guy's car up. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if physical play started coming out from ECRC in this one, just to sort of change the vibe and dominate. If they go up early, I wouldn't be surprised.
Absolutely is. We see things kind of stall out on the kickoff. So we're going to start in the orange half a little bit with Smashley getting up the field and EM bouncing right back. Yeah, this first goal in game 3 is going to be huge, as Caesar gets a no boost touch there off the goal line, but it is going to be a little bit awkward for Luis. He's going to pitch it out to the side for Kiwi, but it's going to go right in the middle for Gojo. So yeah, we're going to be camped out here on the orange half for quite a while.
Yeah, and you can feel the pace is stepped up right now by ECRC, but El Matador matching that pace, keeping that ball out. We're a minute in with no goals, something we couldn't say of the last 2 games.
Absolutely, and you kind of see the tale of 2 different play styles. You've got the team play from ECRC, always looking for each other, and you have kind of a solo-ish play mentality for EM. Of course, you know, you have some assists going on, and of course that's, you know, but they just not like passes. Of course, we're so used to ECRC, their passes, Toe Death and Smashley just kind of being the catalysts of those. But, and of course, like on the other side, right, you have EM of being very solo play heavy, and hey, we're just going to take over this game. So we'll see how that plays out, as Luis is going to hit it to himself in the corner here. Can he follow it up? He can't. And Kiwi's going to clear. So yeah, dead even, a minute 30 in.
And from the first 2 games, this is expected and not expected. You're expecting the high scoring to continue, but also you're expecting both teams to make adjustments. And when both teams shift their play style at the same time, you kind of get a game 1 effect out of it.
Yeah, absolutely right. If both teams make adjustments, what adjustments are you going to make, and what are the teams going to look like? And depending on how big those adjustments are, the teams could be completely different to what you're used to. And of course, I mentioned it earlier with ECRC and Timber's Army series, right? Like, Timber's Army came out flying and totally took them off guard, and then once they made those adjustments, ECRC looked like a completely different team, as Kiwi's going to get another shot on target. It's going to be knocked away by Toad Death. Can Luis follow this up? No, it's going to stay in the blue half, though. Smashley gets it clear, and that's going to be the first real offensive threat for both teams.
And EM did multiple attacks on that offense there. They're back in it now, and they were able to hold that zone for a minute but not find a hole in the defense. ECRC able to stop it. But here we are past halftime, scoreless, This is an incredible game of patience right now.
Yeah, who's gonna break first? Who's gonna make the mistake first? Who's gonna score that first goal as both teams are playing near perfect here in game 3. Pivotal game 3. As Gojo's gonna play this across to Toadeth. Can they get the pass off? No, but Smashley's there. The third man cheats up, and ECRC take the lead in game 3.
And that's that standard 1-2-3, almost a 1-2-1-3. As Caesar, oh my goodness, as Gojo came cruising past, Luis finally making his voice heard about the server.
Absolutely, and Maz once again coming in with clutch with really good points. Of EM is a very boost heavy team. They love to use boost. I would love to see the stats on that actually, if we can somehow pull up their ball chasing stats of how much boost they actually use per game versus their opponents. And so ECRC doing a really good job of boost stealing and getting them away from it. As Gojo's gonna pick up mid boost and just gotta play this to the side as both teams trying to stabilize. But yeah, for EM, how do they respond? Who's gonna be the one to take over?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And right now we're still seeing Luis and Caesar doing big things. Obviously, it's not like game 2 where Kiwi was sitting on 4 goals. But it's not like he's not participating either. And oh, an unattended net!
I'm not sure what happened here, Corndog. It looks like Toadette jumped. Oh, he got bumped by Kiwi. That's a great bump. And nobody else was back for ECRC. So Kiwi coming up with a huge play to get them level.
I did not see that bump in real life. That was amazing on the replay there. Interesting way to fight back as they find another one immediately. I'm gonna shut up.
Luis coming in with a huge goal off the wall. Gojo did not get the upward touch that he wanted off the sidewall, and Luis reads it perfectly. And so ECRC coming back in game 1, EM coming back in game 3. Of course, there's still a minute left to play. Anything can happen, but going well for El Matador so far.
Yeah, and a great shift of the momentum, a great change of the pace, and El Matador's looking really strong right now as they're coming back down again. Double commit force from ECRC, that's big. Caesar tries to play that back to Luis, and it's going to get cleared out, but El Matador looking hungry right now.
They are looking really good as Kiwi's going to get this one on target. It's going to cause a double commit out from ECRC. Gojo does have to get a touch on this, and he does. Very good, as there's going to be another double commit from EM. Smash and Luis meet in the middle and 30 seconds left. ECRC do have to score with time remaining, as Caesar's going to take his time here on the sidewall and wait for a challenge to come through. And it's not going to come just yet as ECRC try to set up in the orange half.
And it's popsicles and pretzels for breakfast right now for EM as they're just shutting down the ECRC offense. Every time they bring it forward, it seems to be getting out.
Well, that ball's going to stay up from Caesar. It's not going to be killed properly. Can Smash and get this one on target? It's going to go off to the side. It's going to be a demo from Toadeth. Kiwi keeps this up instead of killing it, but Toadeth, unfortunately, does not get the touch he wants. And EM steal game 3.
They held on tightly, and they earned it. El Matador looking towards your prediction now. Mine's out of the window. Obviously, ECRC could come back and win, but 3-1 out of the question that direction. Do you think El Matador takes here in this next game based on what we just saw in the last 3?
Gosh, I don't know. I'm going to say ECRC come through. I think ECRC come through. I know... I thought I saw this coming. We have a substitution for EM. It's going to be Kiwi out, Kuv in.
Ooh.
So how does that change things for both teams, really? El Matador and for ECRC, kind of on, the opposite fronts of defense and offense. Kuv, just as a player profile, veteran of this game, and I know from talking to him earlier in the week, last week, that he wanted at least one game. He wanted at least one game against ECRC, quote unquote, paraphrasing, he hates these guys. So just saying, yeah, very crazy. So,
Maz does point out in the chat real quick that with that game 3 win, El Matador officially makes the playoffs.
Oh, congrats to them. Yep, they are on 25 points, I think, as it stands. So congrats to EM for making the playoffs. We'll see what happens from here on out. Of course, they still want to win for seeding, of course, because they have all to play for next week as well, as we get kicked off in game 4, a must-win for ECRC to keep the series alive. And of course, if EM take this game, they win the series.
Yeah, and that would be huge. Nice patience there from Luis to not just directly take that shot. But I'm going to see. But oh my goodness, what a play there to keep that ball out of the back of the net. Good pressure early here for El Matador.
Just on the contrary, we don't see a sub for ECRC. Of course, we do love Spanky, and we see him in chat. I think I saw him a little bit earlier. We do love you, Spanky, and we miss you. Wish you were out there, but of course you've got 3 super talented players in ECRC that are capable of taking this game. Here comes Toe Death against Caesar. Caesar is going to win that one, and Luis is going to help it on to clear it out in the end. But nothing really changing so far. No adjustments really made. It looks to be for either team, but of course no goals again in the first minute.
Yeah, and El Matador, I would say, is looking just slightly aggressive. But again, like you said, it doesn't seem like there's much change in the play style. It's more back to a game 1, game 2 feel where they're just sort of pushing it and seeing what happens, seeing if a hole opens up. It's like jabbing at the beginning of a boxing match. You want to feel them out, feel their rhythm. Have they made changes? It's a good idea to take a step back sometimes and just throw the ball downfield.
Absolutely is. Gojo's going to get a pass from Smashley. Here comes Toe Death. It's going to sneak off the post. Can Smashley get there? He can!
Wow.
Smashley opens the scoring in game 4.
And it's again a 1-2-3 play. Gojo off the wall to Toad. Toad not able to cut it across. Hits a nice awkward pass off that low part of the wall, and it's straight over to Smashley, who again is there and is able to put it in. 1-0 early here for ECRC.
And that's been the story of ECRC too. They do a really good job of knowing when to send the third man. Of course, it's a very risky thing to do, to send the third man, as Luis is going to try and get this one on target, but Gojo is going to clear it out to the side. And ECRC just figured that out. When can I send the third man? When can I go? And of course it works out for them every time, as Luis is going to get a big demo there on Toe Death to keep the ball, as he's going to go off the ceiling. And can we get a musty flick? Not really.
Better than I can do. Oh my god! Toad puts one in!
And that's what you get for playing with your food, Luis. Don't play with your food, because Toe Death, the bump from Gojo, a really good bump at that. It's going to give ECRC the 2-0 advantage with just over 2:30 left. Of course, plenty of time still for EM, but other than kind of the first few flurries of the game, we really haven't seen much of them on offense, so that's a really good challenge from Smashley. Caesar's not going to be able to do anything with that attack. Here comes Gojo for 3!
My.
Gojo's got 3, and ECRC are rolling.
A goal apiece for the members of ECRC. 2 assists for Toad, 1 for Gojo. All team play here, and it feels like they have a counterattack set up where they know how El Matador is trying to set up their offense, and they're just simply having someone be there and shut it down. So interesting power play here for ECRC, suddenly just opening up the game, and it's going to be a battle in the last 2 minutes here for El Matador.
Yeah, it's the attack has all been ECRC over the course of this game 4. And yeah, I think, Corndog, you said it best. It looks like ECRC have finally figured out this EM attack, and it has allowed them to flourish on the offensive end, as Luis is going to get a pop. Smashley has no boost. Can EM put this one on target? Kuv and Caesar both go. Smashley does really well for the low boost that he had, as Gojo is going to keep this out. But Gojo coming alive a little bit here in game 4.
Yeah, that flip reset attempt was beautiful, but you'll notice they had a LCRC team member up there ready to back him up, so he could go for that. And if he missed, it was still going to be hit forward because they knew they had the third man back. And we're seeing the arms are relaxed here now for ECRC, and it's going to be a matter of can El Matador make a change at this point, and can ECRC keep it up?
Absolutely is. We haven't said Koov's name too much yet, but it is going to be one back. Luis to Caesar. What a pass, what a goal. And they're on the board in game 4, and there's a minute left. This game's not over.
And what a heads-up play from Luis. On his way back, sees that ball, kicks it across, and then the positioning from Caesar. He's just there, guides the ball into the net. Nobody back for ECRC. Beautiful play, El Matador.
Absolutely, as we have Luis there, and a bump coming out from Caesar.
And it's anybody's game at the last minute.
Here come El Matador. Halloween was last week, but it's getting spooky, scary here for ECRC. Of course, in game 1, we had EM up 2. ECRC come back. We have ECRC up 3 goals in this one. EM starting to come back. What a series this has become.
And we're seeing a little bit of frantic from ECRC. No, it's not. It's an offensive attack as Toad Death receives from Gojo. And Toad Death has had beautiful balls all night.
Absolutely, and once again, it's just going to be a defensive double commit or even triple commit from EM that's really just letting them down in the grand scheme of things, just wasting boost, wasting positioning. It's just not benefiting them, absolutely, as Gojo honestly could have had a chance at that double too, and unfortunately didn't get the touch that he wanted. But like I said, the second and third man for ECRC always know when to go, and they always capitalize on those areas. As here comes Toad Death. He's gonna put it wide. It's gonna, and it's not gonna be in, unfortunately. But with 2 goals left, it doesn't really matter. All you want to do is just keep the pressure on and make sure EM doesn't get an attack. But here comes Caesar with a little bit of boost. Just get the flick he wants. As here comes Gojo's gonna try and keep this as low to the ground as he possibly can, as Luis is gonna get another save. But here we go, everybody. It's every, well, if at least for every commentator's dream. We have a game 5.
Game 5. And man, the temperature has just been so hot and cold for both teams here. As soon as some team figures the other one out, they change up their gameplay, and then that works for them. And man, this deserves a game 5, ECRC and El Matador.
And of course,
11
those
shots.
who had 11 shots. Oh yeah, 11 shots for ECRC is definitely a completely different game. And of course, for those of you just joining in, we have ECRC taking on El Matador. We've got the 2 seed versus the 5 seed. And that might seem like a big gap, but I think the gap in points is like 3 or 4 at most. And so we've got 2 of the top teams in the league battling it out. And yeah, we're going to a game 5, which is against my prediction as well. So my prediction is officially out the window.
It's both of our predictions are out the window, but we did have 4 guesses on that game. So one of us can still be right here, 25% correct out of the whole. If ECRC wins, I get the quarter point, and if El Matador wins, you get the quarter point. So interesting to see how that shapes up.
That's right, that's right. And of course, we have another sub coming out for EM. It is going to be Kiwi coming back in for Koov here in this game 5. I need to hit spectate and not join. And here we go, Champions Field. Honestly, my favorite map in the game. I know that might be a hot take, but here we go. Game 5, 2 of the top teams in the league. Let's do it.
I'd just like to let Twitch chat know that this is a best of 5 matchup. There will be 5 games worth of points, and the first team to win 3 will win because it's a best of 5 series. Thank you for playing.
Yes, Guy Giverson coming out with the analysis. I'm sure he told you to say that.
The Twitch chat was going nuts with best of 5s. So I was just playing.
Gotcha. Well, we still thank Guy for his service, of course.
Yeah, it's his cousin.
It's his cousin. And we're having some fun here in game 5. Kiwi setting up Caesar for, was that a bar down ski? It sure was.
Bar down ski.
Unbelievable. And it's gonna be an early lead for EM.
Holy cow, Smashley was sort of a careless butthole clear there. You got to watch out for those. You can't get them too deep sometimes, and Gojo was there to take it to the wall. I think letting Gojo have it was the smart play.
And Luis is up, and oh, that's a save from Gojo. Can somebody follow up? It's not going to be there in time as Kiwi comes in and doubles the lead for EM.
Holy cow, that first shot was a laser beam. And then Caesar kicks it across past 2 defenders. What a shot from Kiwi to shut it down. Great pass in from Luis, aka shot on net that barely got saved. It looks like El Matador wants to win this thing, and I'm here for it. Oh no!
I think you had a miscommunication there from Caesar and Luis as Gojo's gonna get the kickoff goal. I think Luis thought that Caesar had it, and I think Caesar thought that the game was over. And it's gonna be a 2-1 lead now for EM. Wow, this is a lot of excitement in the first minute of game 5.
What a ball! Kiwi not able to put that on target, but a beautiful pass from Luis. And El Matador still looks on fire. ECRC finding a hole just seconds ago, though, and putting it back within 1. And here we go, back to that game 1, game 2 pace. 3 goals in the first minute and 10 seconds.
As we keep going, as Luis teaches us how to wall dash. That's a sensitive topic here in SGL, wall dashing. We don't want to get into that, but nonetheless, here it's another double commit coming out for EM. It's going to allow ECRC to get back on the attack as Toaddeath and Smashy try to connect in the corner. It's not going to work out as Kiwi's going to get a huge clear and kind of reset things for EM, but we'll see where EM goes from here, right? They had that flurry of offense. How can they sustain that pressure to keep it going? And of course for ECRC, or 1 goal just coming from the kickoff, how can they get their offense going? Who's going to be the spark plug?
Yeah, and right now it's looking like each team is shutting down the moves from the other team. El Matador have definitely made some changes. ECRC, oh my goodness, as Luis finds that ball off the wall, and it's 3-1 El Matador with 3 minutes to go.
Oh, Smasher thought that was going to roll up the wall. We all have been there. And unfortunately just kicks out the perfect height and the perfect width for Luis to just tap it in far post. And it's gonna add an insurance goal for EM here as Luis is starting to style on him. He's feeling confident when he's doing that.
Yeah, that was impressive to see. It didn't do much, but dang, wasn't it impressive as Gojo takes it slow over 2 defenders. Toaddeath not there to clean up, looking to remove the counterattack, but holy cow, 3-1 here. El Matador looking good, Luis looking good, all of them.
Of course, like I said, who's going to be the spark plug for ECRC? They have plenty of time, 2 minutes left. So we really haven't seen much from them from the offense, and partly I think that's due to Kiwi coming back in, as this ball's just going to come across, and it's going to be dealt with by Toaddeath. But once again, you look at the boost totals for ECRC, and only really 1 player has boost, and that person's Smashy, who's just double committed there with Gojo there on the goal line. But what's going to happen here is Luis and Caesar have really yet to combine, and like I said, it's really been just Kiwi himself and kind of some solo plays happening as Toaddeath. Can he put this one on target? It's going to be on target. It's going to be a beautiful save from Luis. But is Toaddeath the answer in game 5?
Right now, it seems like, it seems like they just need to slow it down a little bit. They're going for the glory, they're going for the shot, they're trying to save time on that clock, and they're not looking across for the passes. Now, the shots are great, but if the defense sees it coming from a mile away, it's not going to make the back of the net.
Well, there's going to be a key double commit as Toaddeath's going to have to rush back there for ECRC. So once again, yeah, EM just keeping the pressure on. It's going to be another shot from Kiwi, and just ECRC need to get out with boost. The problem is when they go on attacks, they just don't have boost to do anything with. So this 50 is going to go in the favor of ECRC, but it's going to be well dealt with by the EM defender as we clips 1 minute left. Who's gonna? This next goal is going to determine everything, because it means ECRC's back in this game, or it means El Matador is going to close it out. And as I say it, it is the man himself. Kiwi might have just put this out of reach.
Another double commit there. They actually prevent each other from doing what they wanted to do. Ball floats out and Kiwi is ready, baby. That was a great work from them. El Matador, a goal apiece, Kiwi with 2.
I hate to say it, but for EM, it's been all Kiwi, man. He's been the name we've said probably the most on the offensive end, and rightfully so. He is woken up. He was very, very quiet in game 1 to the point where he even said, hey, he's a little bit quiet. He hasn't really been doing much. And Kiwi, of course, waking up in the latter games here as ECRC are trying to make this interesting. 30 seconds left. Gojo's going to get on the score sheet. And yeah, this game isn't over yet.
Yeah, that's definitely a glimmer of hope. But, you know, if you don't get the patented corn dog stall ball here on the face-off, oh no!
Oh, it's going to be a double fake. Kiwi, it's going to be saved out by Toad. Gets demo for his troubles, but it's a good idea, right? Little set play from the kickoff, try and win it. It's
Yeah,
a good idea.
and it pays out frequently enough to be betting odds.
Absolutely, this ball's just going to be floating super awkward, smashing Gojo double commit, but they're going to have to do it with time left as Caesars. Can he put this one away?
Oh,
He
no.
can. It's going to be EM taking the series in 5 over ECRC.
Absolutely well earned. 12 shots for El Matador versus 5 to ECRC. They were pressure, and ECRC just couldn't handle it.
Absolutely. Will Toadef get one for the road?
Oh my.
He will. It's going to be 3-5, our final score. But nonetheless, EM are going to take the series in 5 and are going to propel themselves, I think, for the moment, into 4th place, if not even 3rd with 4 points there. And to be fair, you do have ECRC taking 2 games, which are 2 critical points going into next week, just making life a little bit easier, of course, if they do want to get that 1 seed.
Yeah, and El Matador had a server disadvantage for this matchup. It was mentioned at one point their ping never really dropped below 80, but they were able to pull it out, and convincingly. I think if this series goes to 7, I'm going to stick with El Matador.
Yes, absolutely. And just to confirm, this puts El Matador on 27 points. They're actually going to propel themselves temporarily to 3rd place. And of course, ECRC, with the 2 games that they have won, will propel themselves up into 1st place for the time being. But of course, stay tuned. We do have another match for you tonight. Another absolute banger. We've got Locals versus Rebellion kicking off here very shortly. And I'm gonna make sure that I think we need to leave, Corndog. Let's leave the match, and we'll get the server reset here shortly for that. But what a series that was. We had a little bit of everything, right? We had the comebacks, the seemingly domination, not really, the flippy spinnies, the pinch goals, the passing plays. Man, that's a really good game 5.
Yeah, and the series leading up to it, the stop and go, the comebacks from 2 goals down for both teams. It was incredible. ECRC pushed it to game 4, but El Matador definitely looked really good in game 5 and deserved that win. Beautiful gameplay there. And now we're looking forward to seeing the Locals and the Rebellion. How you feeling about that one now?
Man, I don't know. It's gonna be a banger match, and we talked about it a little bit for the pregame, but of course, if you are just tuning in, we've got Locals who were temporarily, or I guess now they've jumped down to 2nd just because of the 2 points that ECRC did take now, but of course they were atop of the league coming into tonight, and of course Rebellion right behind them in 3rd place. So really top teams here tonight, and we've said it before. I'll just kind of reiterate our keys to the game. We've got a well-oiled machine in Locals. Can they free up Mecky Ducky? Hashtag free the duck. Get that in chat, please. And of course, you've got Rebellion. If they can get hot and if they can stay hot, they're going to be a really hard team to beat. And like I said, we're just gonna jump straight into this. We're just doing this. I'm hitting spectate one more time. And here we go. New series, new day, game 1. Here we go. Rebellion Locals. Let's do this.
Yeah, and Kato, Duck, and Aquatic on the Locals. Triple C5 on the Rebellion with Shorts and Polar. It's going to be a good matchup here. A lot of big names in this one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If you'll see some of the names here, and of course, if you remember from our pregame, we did show the top 5 statistics table, and of course, a lot of these players are going to be on there as I'm interested to see what both teams look like. I commentated locals a little bit ago
Oh my.
earlier in the season, but not since then. As they're going to open the scoring. It's going to be Dr. Aquatic putting on the first goal for locals.
Yeah, Polar and Shorts coming together there in the corner was the key for that. But Aquatic feeding himself at the corner and ready to put that on net. That's not an easy shot to make. So good little solo play there from Aquatic. Unfortunate miscommunication for Rebellion. And 1-0, 30 seconds in. All right, game started.
Absolutely, and it really, I think you do have full strength sides for both teams. You've got Triple C, Shorts, and Polar for Rebellion. Of course, you have Doughboy, Dr. Aquatic, and Mecky Ducky for locals. And so we'll see how that plays out as Polar's going to go off the backboard for that. Super awkward as Shorts and Dr. Aquatic coming together for a beautiful, beautiful save. And so it's been kind of dodgy so far. Nothing really crazy. Of course, we do have the one goal from locals, but truthfully, this game is a lot faster than the last series we just watched, Corn Dog.
Yeah, and game one started out about this speed for ECRC, but they both slowed down. This is crazy as Mecky Ducky finds the way. I like Mechanical Duck, formerly spelled out for the record. But nice shot from way far on the wall. Nobody back. Shorts trying to make it there. And it's 2-0 for the locals.
Hashtag free the duck. Get that in chat, please. Mans has been crazy. In the Batmobile, too. He's the next coming of Cooks here, people might call him. But yeah, he is definitely the one to watch out for if you're the Rebellion. Of course, you've got Dr. Aquatic as well, just helping out there. But yeah, Mecky Ducky is going to be the one. He's going to fake it. Can he get it by Shorts? No, it's good recovery from Shorts. But once again, these 2-goal games are a little interesting, right? Because I think it's really the next goal that determines everything. Can Rebellion get back into this game one with a goal of their own, or is locals just kind of start to run away with it at 3-0? So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, and I super agree with that. By the time enough time has passed for it to be 2-0, there's not a lot of clock left. So coming back to 1 goal, absolutely great momentum. Going down by 3, really bad momentum. So I like that analysis there.
Of course, 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in soccer, and as Corndog mentioned it, in Rocket League as well, because we did see a comeback there in Game 1, EM scoring 2 goals really early in that series, in that Game 1. And of course, ECRC came back to take Game 1 3-2. So if you're Rebellion, anything's possible. And so you just gotta find the offense, and truthfully, it's stabilized a lot better since giving up those 2 goals, and it's been pretty even since then, really.
Yeah, and we're seeing all the back and forth, like you were just pointing out there, right, Dog? It's been a lot of going for and shutdowns. I know that's how Rocket League works. I can't think of a better way to say it right now. But lots of big opportunities both directions and lots of big plays, and it's just sort of become expected at this point. Nobody really working the ball forward, and definitely no holes being found as the score hasn't changed for 3 minutes, 2 minutes.
That's a close pinch. That's a good idea from Rebellion, trying to be creative to break down this stingy locals defense. As another pinch comes out, and luckily it was right at Dr. Aquatic at the end of the day. But waiting to see what the game plan is for Rebellion here. Of course, they've got some time left in Game 1, but at least I can speak from experience playing them a few weeks ago. They were just really physical and kind of just doing it in the most awkward scenarios where you just wouldn't think you'd be demoed, and then all of a sudden you're off the field and you're not really sure what's going on, and then you look back at your camera and you see freaking Shorts or Triple C's right behind you going, how the heck did you get here? So we haven't really seen much of that as Mecky Ducky's just gonna do his thing. Hashtag free the duck. I'm gonna say it every time, and it's gonna be 3-0.
Hashtag free bird is right there. Beautiful catch from Mechanical Duck, walking that one in, putting this game everything but out of reach with 59 seconds to go for Rebellion.
Yeah, unless Rebellion can get one really, really quick here, as Shorts is going to go up, but it's not going to be on target. Yeah, this looks to be done and dusted. Locals have just looked really, really good in the grand scheme of things, both offensively, of course, with 3 goals, but really defensively as well. They really haven't allowed a lot of opportunities for the Rebellion, as Polar's going to try and connect on that one and can't. But it's been really quiet on the front of the Rebellion is Triple C's. Can he get a save? He can. Can they keep it out? They can. Wow, what a double save.
And it is high energy here in the final seconds. I'm not seeing Rebellion give up. They're warming up for game 2, in my opinion. And right now, it looks like they're doing okay. But man, the locals just able to collect the ball, take possession. As right there, Triple C spots that one out to the side and just gives it right back. But no quitting these guys. I'm excited, looking forward to game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't hang your head, of course, if you're Rebellion. Of course, this is a game of best of 5, excuse me, as well. So first 2-3, as locals are going to take game 1. But yeah, it's not that the Rebellion looked bad. They really didn't. They just really couldn't get a lot of offense going, and when they did it wasn't how do I put this, like, they didn't penetrate as well as they should have. There weren't like tough attacks. It was just easy to clear and all those sorts of stuff. And just, yeah, for locals, just being very smooth, which is very on cue with them, of just super smooth rotations and a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, I saw a lot of long shots and a lot of balls being cleared completely, and not a lot of possession down towards the end there. Obviously, the locals with the 3-0 got 2 beautiful quick angle goals at the start, and then finding that third one after fighting for it. 3 saves for Dr. Aquatic, 8 shots for Rebellion, 8 shots for locals. It was dead even on paper. But dang, was that a weird game. I'm excited to see if Rebellion makes some shifts here and get back in it. Ooh, Kato.
Yeah, it is a good point. We'll see what happens. Of course, last series we had the kings of mid-series adjustments in ECRC unfortunately just fall short, but like I said, Rebellion's got a few tricks up their sleeve as well. So we'll see what happens with them here in game 2. Is we're gonna of course start out on the attack here in the orange half. It's gonna be saved out by Polar, or Shorts, excuse me. But how can you be creative, right, if you're Rebellion on the attack? It looked a little bit messy, it looked a little bit stagnant at times. How can you get some more penetrating attacks is going to be the name of this game 2 for them.
Yeah, and I could see maybe slowing down that offense, take the ball and keep possession, because when you clear it down, locals are on it right now. Locals looking so good right now. And, you know, I mean, obviously Mecky Ducky, but locals as a team, functioning, fluid, someone's always back. They are up here 1-0. Haven't been scored on yet.
Absolutely, as Polar's going to get this one on target. It's going to be saved away by Dr. Aquatic. And as a new player in the league here, is Doughboy's going to put that one on target. It's going to be easily saved away. That locals last year were just like such a hit or miss team, right? You never knew which locals were going to get. Ironically, it's kind of similar to how Rebellion has played this year so far. As Shorts is going to get this one, it's going to go down in, and Shorts opens the scoring for Rebellion in game 2 and in the series.
What an important goal here for Rebellion to go up a minute and 20 seconds in, and that's gonna, I think, agitate the bee's nest. I think we're gonna see the locals get real aggressive here, just from experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was saying, is Mecky Ducky tries to answer back quickly, but they were kind of like Rebellion in their own sense of you never knew which locals you were gonna get. And so this year they've definitely leveled out, but done it in a way that's just made them so much better. Being one of the top teams in the league, instead of kind of, you know, staying at the middle of the pack. Is that shot for Dr. Aquatic's gonna go in? There were 2 defenders there, but they were both really awkward, and it's gonna be level.
Yeah, and I think that qualifies as hitting the bee's nest. We saw nothing but attack from locals since the kickoff on that 30 seconds ago, and they were able to even up the scoreline 1-1.
Absolutely, and goes Polar with a really good challenge on who was that, Mecky Ducky. Dr. Aquatic has to rush back for that one. But yeah, I agree. That's a really good analogy, Cordog. I might use that for the future broadcasts of poking the bee's nest.
Yeah.
You're riling them up.
And that could go one of two ways too, because when you get angry and you start road raging, sometimes you can get scored on and go down by 2 very quickly. So good on the locals to fight through that, get that goal in, take the pressure back off.
Absolutely.
Dr. Aquatic is moist. I was just informed from Twitch chat.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think that makes sense.
I think I approve that statement.
Yeah, my name's Corndog Sean, and I approve this message.
And I approve this. Oh, good battle there forward for the locals. Shut down and walked all the way out by Triple C. A smart play there, not just banging it, walking it down. And we're seeing the locals getting a little more confident right now. They're putting the third man forward. He's not typically behind half court line when they're on attack, as Aquatic puts one in from the sidewall.
Yeah, it's going to be unfortunate for Polar. He got there, just didn't have the boost, and when he flipped, he probably thought he had like 12 more boosts to get around it in time, but didn't. So it's unfortunate that that one had to go in off of Polar, but truthfully, they looked better in this game, especially offensively, just doing a little bit more and staying more in the attack, but locals they're just that good. You just need to have a special play in order to beat them.
Yeah, but Rebellion, man, I mean, shake that one off, play like it's 1-1, and just keep the momentum going, because, man, a half a card length changed the outcome of that one. I mean, as most Rocket League things do. But keep that pressure up. Don't shy away. And it looks like locals being kind of held back here a little bit by Rebellion.
Yeah, absolutely. This is really good pressure. Triple C is going to try and hit this one to the far post.
There it is.
And Triple C is going to connect. The defense was just super awkward. I think kind of pre-jumped a little bit, thinking the save was going to come, or the shot was going to come more to the near post. And Mechanical Duck himself couldn't even get there. And that's how you know it was a good shot. And we have a palindrome on the scoreboard. 2-1-2-1-2. Here we go.
I am a fan, and I'm a fan of the gameplay right now. It's anyone's game with 1:17 to go. The locals need this one to put that pressure on and lock in the forward part of the series. And Rebellion needed to tie it up, as Aquatic gives them the point back. 3-2 in favor of the locals.
We've talked about it before on the broadcast that they're just such a well-oiled machine, and everybody knows their role. And of course, we've talked about Mecky Ducky, we've talked about Dr. Aquatic scoring a lot of the goals. We don't really talk about Doughboy all that much, but that's what makes him so special, is that he'll do the dirty work. He's really known for being physical and going for those demos and connecting on plays and just kind of holding down the defense and allowing Mecky Ducky and Dr. Aquatic to do their thing. So I'm going to shout out Doughboy, because he really does quite a bit for this team that goes unnoticed, and it may not even be on the scoreboard. But Doughboy really holding down the back line for locals, as they, yes, are up 1 goal with about 40 seconds left here in game 2. Rebellion, yeah, do need something special here. As Polar's going to try and connect with Shorts. It's not going to connect in the end. It's a Mechanical Ducky. Mechanical Ducky? Yeah, we'll start just making up names. Hey, they can make up names. I'll make up names too.
Mechanical Mallard.
There we go. Oh, I like that actually. Stall this one out here with 20 seconds left.
And just to throw on that Kato dog pile, he did do a charity event earlier today. He played with 2 diamonds as a champ himself, and he was very positive and encouraging to them, and they both had a great time.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. And that ball is going to die, and it's going to be locals taking game 2. But I will say we've seen now the offense come alive for Rebellion, so I think that bodes well for them going on into this series. I think if they can take a game 3, it becomes a little bit nerve-wracking into that game 4 and beyond for locals. But right now, locals, I mean, they just look unstoppable.
Yeah, but they had to earn it there. Rebellion came out strong. Locals had to reset themselves and get back in the groove. Dr. Aquatic with 4 shots, 7 shots total. Polar with 5 shots on the Rebellion, 9 shots total. And locals had to make more saves, 6 saves to 3. So with a 1-point game, those numbers are big. So the similar shots, more saves. Locals are having to work more to keep the ball out of net. And locals are not getting their ball on net, i.e. Rebellion not having to make as many saves. So Good gameplay there. Aquatic taking the hat trick there in game 2 to put locals on top 2-0 in the series. Hi, Rip Shark.
Yes, thank you all for tuning in, of course, as we head into this game 3. We appreciate you sticking around for both series, hopefully, if you've joined us for that long. Thank you. As I'm hoping Rebellion can take this one, and so we can get some more games, because of course I love Rocket League. So
yeah, I would not be upset with the game 4.
And honestly, let's go to a game 5, and Shorts says, let's start that train right now, as Shorts gets them on the board first.
Aquatic slide. There we go. There we go. We are back in it. Ryan Rydog was making some incredible commentary, but unfortunately we had some technical difficulties. We are back 1-0 here for Rebellion.
Yeah, not much is going on since, we cut off. It's been kind of a midfield battle, but of course it is going to be Rebellion on top to start off game 3, which is of course important for them. It's going to be a best of 5, as I mentioned before, so Rebellion do need to take this game to keep our series going, as Triple C's is going to try and get a bump on Mecky Ducky. Doesn't quite work out, but once again, this ball's kind of been hanging out in the blue half, which is obviously a good thing for Rebellion, needing some offense to keep going.
Yeah, and right now, do you try to clutch your pearls or do you try to spread your legs? That's where we're at right now for Rebellion. You got to keep the pressure on to stop the offensive attack from locals, who are up 2 games, but you also don't want to leave that back line open. It's a quandary. It's a philosophical debate is what it is. And the offense did not stop from Rebellion. What a beautiful ball across there from Polar.
Fortunately, I think that hit the post and the crossbar almost at the same time, and it's not going to amount to a goal for Rebellion, as this game does remain a 1-0. And of course, yeah, if you're a Rebellion fan, you definitely want an insurance goal or two, knowing the offensive firepower for locals. And it's been Dr. Aquatic mainly for locals, kind of being on the offensive end. Of course, we've seen Mecky Ducky quite a bit, but it's been really... Oh, as Mecky Ducky gets the save there, but it's going to be a lot of pressure going on for Rebellion. But yeah, it's been Dr. Aquatic, Morley, who's been scoring all the goals for Rebellion, or for locals.
Yeah, and it's been a good thing, but also it's been a limiting thing here. Oh my goodness. Mecky's able to do his thing, Aquatic's able to score the goals, but now it feels like Rebellion is onto that, and they're playing around the setup that locals had previously. Either that or they're just sort of having a misfire game.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, if I'm being honest, Corn Dog. I think, yeah, locals haven't looked as good as they can offensively, but I think part of that has to do with just the sound defense of Rebellion. They have boost, right? I think that's actually been the most important thing is when you look at the Rebellion players, most of the time, of course not right now as I'm speaking, commentators curse, but most of the time they have boost. They're ready to go for all the attacks that locals bring. As this is going to be a 1v1, that's a really good challenge from Doughboy. As players from locals need to rotate back, but yeah, they have boost and are able to challenge these balls, because of course you can't give Mecky Ducky or even Dr. Aquatic space for that matter, as that demo's gonna come through. The shot's not gonna be on target just yet, but it's gonna allow locals to stay in with a minute to go.
and a little bit of violence coming out, trying to shake up that order, trying to shake up that comfortability. Physical play hasn't been a big issue in this game, and I feel like at this point, you're gonna lose. You're down 1. You want to take the series in the sweep. Start trying to push for that goal, because I'd rather lose by 2 than lose by 1. I'd rather lose trying to score a goal than lose because I didn't try to score the goal. So pull out all the stops, get this series locked in. Worst case scenario, you got to play game 4.
That was a really close attack as you were talking, Corndog. That ball just zimming across. It's going to be zipped across, and Shorts is going to double the lead with 19 seconds left. There's the insurance goal that they needed.
And that's a big deal. Aquatic not able to connect with that as Kato can only watch helplessly from the corner, and it's got to be out of reach. I don't want to say it. Let's see if we can commentators curse this one. But Locals, good on them for pushing hard, trying to get that goal back, and good on the Rebellion to make it 3-0 with 12 seconds and put themselves right back in the series.
As Shorts is going to complete his hat trick here in game 3 and to save Rebellion from the sweep and make them live another game. What an unbelievable shot that was off the kickoff from Shorts, and of course Shorts does have MVP of this game by points and of course like that, but I agree with Maz and Chad. It's really been Polar. It's really been Polar who's been able to unlock Shorts and Triple C as well. And so of course Polar might not get the love from the points wise, but I feel like he was he stepped up in game 3.
Well, and just to, remind everyone, this is a team game, and GD it. All 3 of those goals were assisted by Polar and Triple C5 Sports. 5 shots total for Rebellion, 4 of them coming from Shorts, but all 3 goals assisted. Now let's look at the Locals. 3 shots, 1 save. Is that a player? No, that's the whole team. Locals have been figured out. I want to see a gameplay shift here from them and close this series out. But man, am I enjoying the Rebellion roller coaster. I would like to see them win this one and take it to game 5. What a gear change here in game 3.
Oh, I would absolutely love a game 5 as well, even though that's not really what I predicted, I think. I
don't remember what I predicted.
I think I did 3-1 Locals. So I mean, honestly, it's a win-win for me, because if Locals win this next game, my prediction's right. But if Rebellion wins, then we go to a game 5, which will make me happy anyway. So we love that. But before we get to game 5, let's head over to Utopia Coliseum in game 4. But yeah, Corndog, you said it best. Like, Locals had, 3 shots and 1 save for the entire team? Something's got to change.
Yeah, and is that just a testament to Rebellion, or was that maybe just an off game for the Locals? They might have just got caught on the back foot and been licking their wounds from then on, but Rebellion looked really, really good in game 3.
So you can see it's a little bit passive right now from Locals, as all 3 players were there on the goal line for that save, as we're going to get a double demo in the back of the Rebellion half. But that's something to note, right? Like, you don't really see that too often from Locals. I feel like they're a very trustworthy team. The team trusts each other to make plays, and you saw all 3 of them kind of hanging around in the back for that chance, as Becky Ducky's going to kind of put this one on target. It's going to be Doughboy in the end, but it's going to be saved out by Polar. Yeah, it's been... What a series this has been, and really this first goal is going to tell us a lot about how this game is going to go.
Yeah, and good pressure both directions. It is a high-paced back-and-forth game right now. Who is going to score first? Who's going to Rambo and take first blood? And then what does that implication mean? This has been crazy with the balls back and forth. I thought that was just going to go, and then the camera switched to Polar, and he was back. But another ball that looks like it's going to go, and it just doesn't. Wow, the energy in this game is at maximum.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Polar had a really good redirect there. It's going to go off the crossbar, and it's going to allow Locals to clear out, as that ball's going to go on target. You know, Polar will be there in time, but yeah, absolutely. What a game back and forth as Mecky Ducky, Docker, Aquatic both go. Nobody's going to make contact, so it's going to save out Rebellion for now, but Rebellion have looked increasingly better over the course of the series now. if you're a Locals fan, you really want this first goal to kind of settle the nerves a little bit and get back to their winning ways.
Yeah, and if you're the Rebellion, you're looking for that first step towards Game 5. And I think both teams are feeling that. They're both taking it seriously as Meki Ducky from almost full court hits one off the ceiling. Wow!
What a shot by Meki Ducky, just bringing out the protractor. Getting it right off the ceiling, but I'm not sure what happened with Triple C's there. Maybe he jumped thinking that that ball wasn't going to go over there and ended up not being able to recover. So nonetheless, it's going to be a lead for Locals. It's in a pivotal Game 4 as Schwartz is going to get a demo, and it's going to leave the rest of Locals really awkward. See how they can respond after that demo.
Yeah, E definitely does equal MC squared in that equation. My guess is that Triple C didn't think it was going to hit the ceiling that hard or that early. And wow, what a powerful shot from Meki Ducky. Really giving Locals the confidence here as we approach halftime and what could be the last game if the result holds.
It's going to be 2 double commits, one from each team back to back. I think that means that cancels out in the end, according to algebra, or transitive properties or something. That goal is kind of shaking up Rebellion just a little bit. You can tell that the pressure's going away just a little bit, and maybe that's credit to Locals as well, just kind of stepping up the attack and feeling more confident with the lead. Triple C's is going to go up as well as Shorts, but Doughboy's going to be the first one to make contact as Dr. Aquatic goes up. Can he make this read off the ceiling? He can't. Meki Ducky again off the backboard. Where's Doughboy? He's not going to commit. That's a really smart play from Doughboy. Locals stay on the attack with under 2 minutes to go.
Oh my, Meki Ducky just missing that squish out to the side, got a little fancy with it. After all, the surface area of a triangle is 1/2 of the base times the height that gives you the surface area, and Meki Ducky trying to exploit that to squeeze that ball into the side net, just not able to make it happen.
Absolutely. Of course, with this game win, Locals would regain first place from ECRC outright based off of game differential. So we'll see how that goes as Meki Ducky is going to flick it home and get his second goal of the game, finally waking up.
Yeah, the Locals looking really good.
That was a really good demo from Dr. Aquatic, because goalies can't save shots if there's no goalie there. A wise man once said.
I've heard that. I've heard that saying before.
Yeah, I think that's in the SGL Constitution, maybe. I'm not sure, but it's somewhere.
It's in
But
the
yeah, if you're
Rocket League Bible for sure.
The Rocket League Bible. I think one of the pros said it or something on Twitter. I think that's what's going on.
I believe it's canon.
Ah, there we go. There we go. As we see Meki Ducky come in again. Oh, it's beautiful for Meki Ducky. Can't finish it off though. Dr. Aquatic is gonna put it wide with 40 seconds left. Yeah, Rebellion need to go, and they need to go now. It's not looked good for them offensively here in this game 4. See if they can put something together here in the last few seconds as Triple Season. Shorts try and connect, but once again, it's Meki Ducky just clearing everything out, not allowing anything to go on an attack.
And at this point, you gotta pull the goalie. I mean, you need this in a face-off goal. Rebellion, it's not looking good, my dudes. Locals able to find 2 holes in the defense there. Make that 3. I knew it was coming.
Yeah, Meki Ducky had that one stolen by Dr. Aquatic. I'm not sure, did it just bounce off his car? Oh, it kind of did, as Short's gonna get there. And yes, it's gonna be Locals taking the series in 4 games, and they're gonna reclaim first place in SGL as we are, I guess, heading into the final week next week. Poor Dog,
yeah,
it's been a crazy day.
Oh yeah. I have to say, Rebellion putting up that great fight, making us question ourselves there in game 3, taking it to game 4, stealing that bonus sweep point from the Locals, which may have huge implications as we round out the season here, especially with ECRC losing today and widening that gap a little bit. it's going to be a tighter race, as we were talking about at the beginning of the stream here. It's going to be a tighter race than normal, and it's anyone's first place at this point. Well played from the Rebellion there in this series, but Locals, great win. There was something else that was happening. There's no bonus sweet point.
Nope,
Yeah,
they do get 4 points though, and that's going to bring them up to 33 points. And of course, Locals for that 1 seed do control their own destiny there. ECRC though, once again, was the previous match. Of course, you can see it on screen. Taking 2 games off of El Matador, which is going to put them up to 31. And so, of course, ECRC for that 1 seed is going to need Locals to lose their series, get some help there. But Rebellion, I think that means they are locked in the playoffs with 26 points. I'm not sure if that's confirmed. We might be able to confirm that after. But nonetheless, what a day it has been. We're gonna get some interviews rolling. Let me see who we got. Let's see who we got. Oh, leagues tables updated. Let's go, Mass. Thanks. Can we pop that up there, please? You have it all ready to go? Perfect. Yep. So league table. This is the updated live league table. Locals, ECRC, EM Rebellion make out our top 4. And of course, Black Army is going to be playing a little bit later this week. Once again, we said it before and we'll say it again. Timbers Army there at 21 in that last slot for playoffs can't move because they are on a bye this week, which scares me completely, but that's okay.
And hey, it's looking good for a lot of the teams on there. Locals taking that 2-point gap there. That's very crucial for the battle with ECRC. El Matador creeping back up the table into 3rd. Rebellion, obviously not out of it by any stretch of the imagination from that loss. But a great game from both sets of teams here. And we've still got a few more coming up in this week. I don't know if we have that one ready, but we still have a couple more games to play. Steel Army and EC Blue is one of them, if I remember right.
Yep, Los Verdes takes on Black Army, I think is the other one, and KC Cauldron, EC Defiance are the last games of the week. And so yeah, of course, after those games we'll get the full picture, and I'm sure we will do some points breakdowns of who needs what to qualify and all of those sorts of things. Well, we're gonna get some interviews rolling in here when these guys come through. So we will get those guys in here as soon as we can. But Corn Dog, I know we kind of said our predictions a little bit, but is this kind of expected that was English. Is this how you expected this night to go?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. ECRC getting beat wasn't at the top of my list, but man, El Matador played a good game. They were able to fight them, beat them, sneak it around them, and they've moved themselves up into 3rd place right behind. They're only 4 points behind 2nd place in ECRC. Beating them today gives them an advantage, and Locals beat them earlier. So the 2 teams to beat ECRC are surrounding them on the leaderboard there. Locals remain with only the 1 loss with that great 3-1 win. I was reminded by Maz that the magic number is 25 points. Statistically, for the rest of the season here, 25 points is the number to hit to get. So Timbers Army need a little bit of work, and Black Army needs to get shut down, and that will cause a change there for position, and then Casey Cauldron, a lot of work to do if they want to try to get up there, and they need Timbers Army to not do well.
Absolutely. That's a pretty dang good summary for week 10 being halfway done and trying to figure out all the combos. So there's the goated brain of Corn Dog with you. So we're gonna bring in some interviews now. I think if we're ready to go, yeah. Let's bring in our first interview. It's gonna be Mr. Doughboy. Doughboy, congrats on the win tonight.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
How did it feel? Because obviously those first two games a little bit closer, right? And that game 3, Rebellion just shot out of the cannon. Did that kind of catch you off guard?
Yeah, a little bit. We gave them an early goal in that game, and took us. Obviously, we didn't really recover the rest of the game from it. But we regrouped. We focused on regrouping in that last game. Like they got to come to us for 2 more wins. So let's just let's regroup and take it.
Nice. I had a quick point of order here. You did a charity game before the stream. You played with 2 poor, disparaged diamonds. How do you feel about doing charity work before a big stream?
Look, I'm sitting in Diamond 2 right now in 3.
Right. Fair enough. But no, you guys played great. There were moments of doubt, but those were easily shut down. And then that last game was convincing. So it was good to see you guys spring back.
Yeah, it was good. We were a little, I think all 3 of us were a little off our game at times. Honestly, Ducky puts away a couple of shots in the second game because that game sat at 1-0 for a long time and we got countered, pressing late. Ducky finishes a couple of his shots he had, and that's a completely different ball game. But again, we communicated well. We were playing good D when they pressed us nicely. We knew they would come with the bumps. That's their game plan. We didn't let it rattle us.
Nice.
It's interesting that you bring up the physicality, because typically, and I think I said it on stream, I hope I did, that you're kind of the one that likes to take charge in those things, especially with the demos and physicality with that stupid horse engine. Just hear it coming at the back of you and you're like, what is there a horse behind me? No, it's Doughboy and he's gonna demo me. So I guess, was that like, because it looks like maybe in the first part of that series at least there weren't a lot of demos, maybe from even both teams really. Was that like part of the game plan, was to just be like kind of more smooth with your rotations and everything, or why was there no physicality?
Not really. I think we let the game come to us. Wanted to see what they were doing. And yeah, I expected more physicality in the first game, and I think they probably knew we were expecting it because that definitely is their usual MO. So we just we let the game come to us, and I knew come game 2, with us taking game 1, that they weren't going to let us sit back without getting a little touchy-feely.
Right. It's always good when you know it's coming, if you know what I mean.
Consent is sexy.
That's right. Corndog, do you have anything else for Doughboy? If not, I was gonna give him the floor to shout out some peeps.
Yeah, no, great gameplay, great rotations, and that's all I have to say. If you want to say something to people.
Yeah, I guess shout out to any of the locals who might be watching. We motor on. We're trying to win one for San Diego. As usual, shout out to the whole SGL crew, including all of you on the stream this evening. Appreciate the work you were doing, and let's keep going through the season and into the playoffs.
Well said.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, you guys are looking good, sitting pretty at the number 1 seed. Of course, it comes down to how next week turns out. But Doughboy, congrats again on the win, and we will talk to you later.
Awesome. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Right, and that was Doughboy from Locals. Yeah, they played an absolute great game, and it's just so them, right? To just be that well-oiled machine and just kind of using that as like their MO of, hey man, you might take a game and we might be off, but we're just gonna get back on track.
Yeah, and it's good to see them studying their opponent. They knew what they were expecting. They tried to shut that down while continuing to do what they wanted to do. They were able to do it this time. Now, granted, the other team got a game back, but Locals able to persevere, able to readjust, and like I said, that game, that last game was a great show of their skill.
Absolutely, and of course we are Going to bring in here Triple C from Rebellion. We'll get him in here shortly to talk about his thoughts on the match. But yeah, I'm interested to see. I've got some intriguing questions for Triple C's just to see what his thoughts are on the game. And there he is, Mr. Triple C's. Tough match for you guys tonight. I guess obviously the glaring exception for you guys was that game 3. Y'all looked really good. What changed in between kind of those first 2 games into game 3?
Honestly, I think we were just kind of got in our own head a little bit. You know, it was a really important game. If we ended up winning that game, we could have potentially taken first. So that was in the back of our minds after that first series against El Matador in Seattle. So yeah, that was kind of in the back of our minds. And you know, that second game where we ended up, I think it was actually the second or third game, we ended up getting that win. It was the third game. You know, we kind of just got a little more relaxed, sat back, played our game where we got a little more aggressive, and that ends up working out for us typically. But we weren't as aggressive tonight as we normally are. You know, we usually get a little more demos in there. Usually we're putting a little more pressure there, but we knew how skilled the locals are, how good they are on the ball, how good they are in the air. So we were trying to kind of counter that a little bit. We knew in advance, you know, Ducky typically has been playing third and then pushing up after the fact. So we were trying to adjust to that as well. And, you know, it just didn't work out tonight.
You guys definitely put on a good show, though, and taking that game back, you were looking good. You were firing on offense. It seemed like you guys were taking turns. It seemed like there were a few times where you guys were stepping on each other. How were the comms throughout the series?
Yeah, no, the comms were not there tonight, I don't think, to be quite honest. Usually we're really good about comms. Usually our rotations are actually one of our better parts about our game, but yeah, tonight the comms just might not have been as good as we wanted them to be. So, you know, something for us to take back, look upon, and work on it for sure.
All right, good to hear. You guys look good out there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely keep your heads high. Obviously they're you know, obviously number 1 in the league right now, and you guys put up a really good fight against them. What are kind of, obviously other than the comms, what are some things that you can take from this series, do you think, that can bode well for you guys going into next week, and of course in playoffs as well, since you guys have clinched?
Yeah, no, honestly, you know, we actually, personally, I don't know if it's biased, but we really think the game was a lot closer than what the scores showed, to be quite honest. So, you know, we think we're actually going to take a lot of positives from that game, from that series. We definitely have some communication stuff to work on, without a doubt. And, you know, Polar and I were switching between 2 and 3 spots, and you know, trying to figure out what the best rotations were. So we'll definitely be using this spot for, without a doubt, when playoffs come around the corner in a couple weeks here. You know, making sure, you know, what worked, what didn't work. You know, when were we double committing? You know, we've gotten rid of a lot of those. You know, when we started the season here, we had a lot of triple commits, a lot of double commits. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that's kind of gone away. But tonight it kind of came back here and there. So, you know, figuring out why and you know, resolving that issue is definitely going to be something important for us.
All right. Well, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time. Rydog, you have something else cut me off here, but is there anything you'd like to say to the people?
No, just thanks everyone coming out. Awesome raid that happened a little bit earlier in the stream as well. You know, it's been really good. You know, appreciate you guys having us, and thanks for all the rebels coming out to watch. And I know Polar's fan base came and watched a little bit too, so appreciate you guys hopping in here.
Absolutely, yeah. Triple C, thanks so much for joining us. Like I said, keep your head high, because you guys played really well. I agree with you that it was a lot closer than the scoreline says, and yeah, we'll see you. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. See you next week, and then hopefully see you guys in playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Playoff.
Everyone.
All right, I think
Yeah.
we have one more, right?
We might have 2 more.
Ooh,
I think
fancy.
I think Smashy Smash is gonna come up next.
Oh, no.
My favorite. Yeah, we can drag in Smash. So let's just get him in here. What of course, Smashley being from ECRC in that first series. Fortunately, taking a loss in Game 5 after a banger series. Really, it was. I'm not gonna say it was the best Game 5, a best 5-game series we've had this season. I think we've had better ones, but nonetheless, I think that one going to 5 just shows how close these teams are. For sure.
Yeah, I think the Locals Rebellion game had a lot more offense, defense. But we are joined now by Mr. Smashley, who is known. Sir, why no own goal this series?
I think I did have one. No, I think I had a pinch. Yeah, I think I rocketed a pinch off of Cesar like from full court into my net, if I recall.
Dang, I'll have to check the tapes on that one. Well, that does explain part of it, but what happened tonight? What was the key moment besides Toad missing that open net?
He did miss an open net. That's true. I've been a little distracted last couple of days. I just picked up an Audi A7 and I've kind of been obsessed with it. So I wasn't practicing as much as I normally would have, but yeah, we kind of figured that they'd bring the full firepower tonight. El Matador, we didn't. We had a player just like quit on us last year, and we just did not have a three to field against them in the last week of the season last year. So we haven't played them in quite a while. So it was fun to play them again. I'm like, they have 3 losses, but like, I don't think that that's the 3 that they normally field. And we kind of planned for that. We've been kind of figuring that the whole week, that they'd probably throw out Luis, Cesar, and Kiwi. And they did, and we hung with them for a bit. But I think we learned a lot of things, and if we get them in the playoffs, probably it'll also go 7. But I think you'll see a very different strategy out of us next time.
Okay, last question from me, and then Rydog's probably going to hit you with one. We didn't see Spanky tonight. Was there a decision behind that, or was it just let's stick with what we've got?
So what we've kind of been doing is, if the first 2 games we feel like very comfortable, then like I'll typically sub out for Spanky, or I think last time actually Toad did, but I don't know. We've never really been a team that rotates. This is the first year that we've done that. But yeah, I mean, it was intentional. We did call before the game that it was just going to be us 3 running the series. So
Okay, fair enough. I was just curious since he was out and about in the lobby there.
yeah, he always hangs out and he gives us a lot of useful information during the like in between games, and sometimes like even during games, just like from what he's seeing on stream, you know.
Cool. Rydog?
Fair enough. Well, Cornell, you actually took my question about Spanky.
Damn
that was
it,
actually
sorry.
my question. No, it's good. It's good. Yeah, Smashley, you kind of touched on a little bit about working, taking some things into playoffs. Without giving too much away, like what are some of those things that you look at? Like, do you watch the VODs and look back at certain situations, or is it just kind of based on your conversations with the team? Like, talk to me through that process.
Yeah, it's just all that.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Simple words.
No, I'm joking. No, we almost always watch back the VOD, and I look at the 3D ball chasing map pretty frequently, and I kind of had to. There was a really bad habit that Toad had that I had to just yell at him over and over about, but he doesn't do that anymore. But now I just have lots of bad habits, so he's being pretty nice with me, because I don't know. I mean, Gojo is just like an animal, and I kind of think the chemistry between the 3 of us is pretty good. But I mean, we didn't. I think the big thing is, like, if we get a proper warm up in, I think we do a lot better. And he had an RSC game like right before, so we only got like a game or two in, and then like on a third game like it dropped him, and so we didn't play that game with him. And yeah, I think your question though is like how do we make adjustments? And I don't know. It's different mid game. Like I think on the fly we're pretty good at it, but we definitely look over things after the series, particularly the ones that we lose in, just to figure out what to do different. It's a little harder with El Matador because they have like 17 people on the roster.
That's real.
So, I mean, we could have 12 people on our roster and have one team too, but we kind of spread it out over multiple teams. So I'm hoping that next year they've got 2 or 3 teams, so they can get more people playing.
Good point. Yeah.
Which I know a lot of them came on mid-season, so they can't add a team mid-season. So I wasn't like talking shit, but.
Yeah, no, but that is a good point too. They definitely have gotten a lot of players and grown their fan base and their supporters in SGL. So yeah, definitely hoping for that. But we're gonna let you go, Smashley, since you've got some fun outies to drift around in. But feel free to shout anybody out before you go.
Yeah, who do I want to shout out? Let me see. I don't know.
Pick me. Shout out me.
Well, I was going. So I did hear. Maybe like 20 minutes after our game ended that the double dog combo was on fire tonight. So props to the double dog combo. I'm out.
Woo! Let's go, Smashy. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Have a good night. He's always a great interview. I just it sucks that he's a Sounders fan because I just kind of have to like inherently hate him for that. But like, he's a great dude,
Yeah. Well, and you never know what you're gonna get with Smashley. He's the Neapolitan of interviews. It could be chocolate, it could be vanilla, and it could definitely be strawberry. And it's normally strawberry, but tonight he hit us with some chocolate, and I'm all right with it.
Absolutely. Well, we've got one more interview for you guys. We're gonna bring in Mr. Colin Couve from FCD El Matador. So we'll get him in shortly to get his thoughts on his team's 3-2 Game 5 victory. There he is, Mr. Couve. How we doing?
Oh, we're doing great. We are feeling great.
Heck yeah. Well, so I said it on stream. I don't know if I was supposed to or not, but I think I remember you saying something when we were doing some open lobbies that you wanted to play in that series because you maybe I'm paraphrasing here, that you hate ECRC. Is that true?
Oh, 100%. There is some lore in this server, and it is 100% true. We beat the match fixing allegations tonight. We are not scared of ECRC. We do not care about ECRC. Like, bro, I know I can't talk like game wise, right? I came in, had a solid 16, 30 points, whatever in game 4, and dipped. I did my part, but like, all I'm saying is this isn't the same Matador people are used to seeing, and we have some good players to where I don't have to necessarily hold back the team anymore, so I'm loving it.
Nice. And I just got to point out that Rydog absolutely called you guys for this series 3-1. He had mad faith in you guys, and obviously he knows the lore, so you can't argue with that. But man, El Matador played great. You found ECRC trying to do ECRC things. Now, granted, some of them got through. We did go to Game 5, but it was a convincing win for you guys. How do you feel about just in general? I know you already said all your things, but do you feel like the team did what it was supposed to do?
Oh, 100%. I mean, we came into the game knowing we needed at least 2 points from the series to make playoffs confirmed. That way, no matter what next week, we can get everyone involved if we want to. But we knew tonight was a big match, not only for us to get into playoffs for the season, but for us to obviously win against ECRC. It's a little bit of jibber jabber back and forth.
Discord technical difficulties
I was gonna
appear
say,
to
did he
be
just
happening.
did he just cut out? Okay,
I
wasn't
think he
me.
just cut out, and I think he doesn't know that he cut out at this point. But he is making some good points there. The team play was on. They were looking really good. ECRC able to squeeze in two, but ECRC's, that kind of animal. Almost every goal was a 1-2 goal, a 1-2-3 goal. So they definitely had the passing play on there. If we get Kuv back, we'll definitely jump back in on him. But well played from El Matador tonight. Moved them up substantially in the standings, and I think we're rejoined again by Mr. Kuv.
Hello, my internet decided to die.
There we go. He's back. He's back. I'm gonna ask one more question, and then I'll let Corndog close it out if he wants. But you were mentioning Kuv playoffs. Talk to me about how, of course, you're feeling. You obviously mentioned you're happy about making playoffs and getting those 2-game wins. But what does next week look like? And then, of course, the weeks after in playoffs. What does that look like for you guys?
So next week's probably going to be, with playoffs secured, probably going to be a get Huey and Saints and a bunch of players that might not have played together involved, probably myself as well. And try to get our gel together in a game-like situation before playoffs. Once playoffs start, I know I'll be busy and probably won't be able to play much, and so maybe some others might be as well. But I know that we are probably, I don't want to say favorites because we're obviously so low, but a lot of people in the league and sources are saying that we are the team to beat apparently. So that's no pressure for us, but a lot of fun to be had with that tag on our name. So it'll be fun to see.
Awesome. Mad respect, man. You guys did great today. Put ECRC down a peg and earned it. It wasn't a technical difficulty. It wasn't a forfeit. There were no shenanigans involved. You earned it, and I respect the hell out of that. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in your locked-in playoff spot here coming up in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir. I am very excited as well. Maybe we get a rematch in playoffs. We shall see.
We'll see. Thank you for joining us. If anything else you want to say,
thank you both for commentating both games. We appreciate you very, very much. The 1-2 doggo combo. Very, very good, gentlemen. Appreciate y'all. And Maz for running the stream in the background.
There you go, Maz, pushing all the buttons, doing all the things, giving us that insider information to help us look good. Thank you for joining us, Koob, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
All right, and I think that's going to wrap it up here, unless I get a frantic message, and I think that's the case. Rydog, absolutely beautiful commentary tonight. You did great running the show, man, and I had a good time talking with you.
Yeah, likewise, Corndog. Just a small recap before we go. Of course, you can see it on screen there. EM taking a Game 5 victory over ECRC to propel them to the playoffs. And then, of course, we've got locals in that second game, just their well-oiled machine, doing what they do best against the Rebellion and taking a 3-1 victory to propel them into first place for the time being. What a great day, Corndog. You mentioned it. What a fantastic day. Awesome doubleheader. We've got more SGL action coming with you guys later this week. Stay in tune with the Discord. We'll send out those announcements when those final games are ready to go, and we'll go live there. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for joining us this evening, for sticking with us for both games. We had a super fun time, and I think for Maz and for Corndog, I would say good night, and we will see you next time.